Hello, folks. Welcome back to The Slice. I'm Stephen Boughton, and today's show is about what in the world is going on with Novak Djokovic. What is wrong? I'm going to give the slice on what I think could be wrong with him, and we're going to look at what are the chances of him getting back to his old self going forward from here in 2018. So here's the slice on Novak Djokovic's current state. When it comes to Novak Djokovic, I don't really know that much about what's actually going on. But what I do know is that you should click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because that will help us and it'll help you become the best tennis fan you can be. But for Novak Djokovic, I think that the problem with him is more up here than it is in here or in here. It's more mental than physical, I think, at this point, because he had surgery 7 weeks ago. And yeah, he should have probably not came back so early and played Indian Wells, like Chris Fowler said.
Yeah, you have elbow surgery. Maybe you should be patient and listen to the experts. But listen, Novak is a complicated cat.
But I think that his mental game right now is what is the biggest thing that's off. And he's even kind of said that in a press conference after his loss to Taro Daniels in Indian Wells. Djokovic said it felt like it was his first match ever on tour. And now that is something that is absolutely crazy to hear from somebody who's won 12 majors, been number one in the world for over 3 years total. He's dominated the world, like the world. He's been the best player in the world for a long, long time. And he saying something like it felt like it was his first time out there. He was completely nervous. He said his nerves were going out. He couldn't get his mind to tell his body that he was fine. Looks like he was super struggling mentally. And that's why I think it's more mental than physical. Because when we look back on Novak Djokovic when he was completely dominating tennis, what was it that set him apart? Was it the power of his strokes? Not really. He had great strokes, forehand, backhand, serve. Serve was really accurate, became really accurate. It wasn't the power, though, that was blowing people off the court. It was his movement. His movement was far superior than anyone else's. So when he was in rallies and you tried to attack him and bring him out wide or something like that, he could move so well and slide out into position where he would never really be caught out of position because he could move so well and he could rally your face off and he would keep balls super deep and just throw himself into every shot. Not like he was playing redlining, which is never really a good thing to do in tennis unless you have to. But he was able to play at such a high level because he trusted his body and he trusted his shots. And he's got to a point where he was so mentally strong and playing the game so well that when players played him, they were nervous. They felt his gravitas on the court, and he was able to just like destroy players consistently because he was able to stay at such a high level and maintain that level and just in that high intensity where he was throwing his body into every shot. You couldn't really make him uncomfortable out there, and he was completely confident. Now, after his surgery and his pain starting way before the surgery last year, we've seen him not be confident in his game. And the biggest thing is not his movement, even though in practice is that I've been watching and the matches that I've been watching, he has not been moving as well. But I think that still starts mentally, and his brain controls his body, and his brain has to tell his body that he's okay. And if his body's not moving well, he's not going to be able to like just throw himself into shots, slide out to his backhand. And when he's doing those now, because he's not confident, the balls are just landing shorter. And then that's allowing other players to attack. And they're not afraid of Novak Djokovic anymore. They're not afraid of the number one player in the world who's won all these Grand Slams in a row, who's completely dominating, who can totally rally your face off and just be a relentless force from the baseline. They're not really scared of that anymore. And we see guys stepping up and taking it to him. So that, I think, is the main problem with Djokovic right now. Because of the injuries, because of the things. There's also been things off court. Like there's been speculation to him and his marriage. Maybe he's had affairs. I'm not saying anything for sure, but that's just what the media has been saying. And he hasn't even denied it. He said the media can say what they want. But, a good way to tell this, you can look at if you have friends on Instagram or something and they're dating or whatever, and they're always posting pictures together, and then say it's a girl, and then she stops posting pictures with her boyfriend, and she's posting pictures with, like, her dog and her, like, brother or family all the time. You're like, oh, there's probably something, like, they're probably broken up. For a while there, Djokovic wasn't really – I didn't even know that his wife existed. You never saw her at the matches, et cetera, et cetera. So you never know what was going on off court. But what was going on off court and his injuries, those types of things, I think started kind of the transition where he started to lose. And then his elbow got so bad that he had to take time off. Then he got surgery. And now it's like been like a year and a half of him not feeling it on the court. And he feels like he's lost. He doesn't know where his body is and his shots are. So I think we got to give him more time to get back into things because he's like 31, so he still definitely has time, even though his play style when he was 26 is so rugged and so so hard on the body, sliding out to all these things and just moving the way he did. We got to give him more time because I think what we do is compare his comeback to Federer's, and we go, well, Federer came back and played so well. He played better than when he was playing before when he came back. But we got to realize what Federer did is not normal. Federer is like an alien coming back to Earth and just deploying this level of tennis that was way better than he played in 16. 15 was pretty good, but 14, 13, like he's been playing better since his comeback than he basically has since like 2009, which makes no sense. So we can't act like that's the norm and then apply that to Djokovic just because Djokovic is one of the all-time greats as well. What is normal is for when players come back off injury, it's a slow climb back up to the top, which is what we've seen with other guys like Viktor Troicki, another Serbian guy who's had to come back. Obviously, he's not at the same level that Djokovic has. But I think the reason that Federer is able to make such a dominant comeback is that his shots are bigger than other players. Federer's forehand is better than his other opponents. It's more powerful. It's more accurate. His serve is better. It's usually more powerful, or not really more powerful, but it's more accurate for sure. And it's a huge weapon. Federer has more weapons just with as far as strokes go than Djokovic does. So he's able to get into that flow and get his momentum back. But with Djokovic, his confidence is totally shot. He was out for even longer. He's been out for longer now kind of than Federer has, and we can't really compare that. So we got to give Djokovic time. I think that he can still come back and become a really good player. I don't think he'll ever be as dominant as he was, though. So that's the slice on what I think is going on with Novak Djokovic. Why don't you leave a comment and tell me what you think? But like I said, make it funny, make it creative, so you can get featured on next week's installment of Fantastic Comments, which I don't have any for you today because it's just a one-off video. But I think that Novak Djokovic is great for tennis, and I love seeing him when he's playing good. But as Chris Fowler said, he's a complicated cat up here, and we don't really know what's going on. And he's fired Agassi, his coach, and he's got a whole new coaching staff. I don't even know if he has new coaches now, but he fired his coaches. So things are very interesting in Novak Djokovic land. I do think he's on the mend with his wife or whatever was going on there. They seem to be doing well. They're posting pictures together again, which is always good. And I think that, if Novak Djokovic, one cool thing is if Novak Djokovic never ever comes back and it wins another major, it's not the end of the world. I think Djokovic can sleep well at night knowing that he's played an unbelievable career. But I know that he's still hungry for sure. And that's why he rushed maybe coming back into Indian Wells and playing when he maybe shouldn't have. But it's all in Novak Djokovic's court. I think that he can do well on clay because his movement will be even more accentuated there because he's a great mover on clay. He's been historically good. He's won Roland Garros. So that was actually like the last major he played well in was the 2016 French Open. So it's basically almost been 2 years since he's been playing super well. So that's a slice on what I think is going on with Djokovic. It's his head. He's in his head, and it's a crazy mental shift for him to try and refine his body. But once he does, and he can trust his body again and loosen up on his shots, I think he'll be super dangerous, and he can be contending for tournaments and majors again. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you again for subscribing to The Slice, as it will help your life as a tennis fan. Thanks for watching the show, folks. That was The Slice, and here's theslicetennis.com. Why don't you go have a ball and just go absolutely nuts reading the best tennis articles from around the world written by fans just like you.